Oh, Strand Street as well. 19th of February, Briar Road. That bike's been screwed up. It's a Snowman. Daily News. Metropolitan. William Robbins. I'm not exactly sure what it says. Practical? Something, I'm not sure. So this is where it happened. Briar Road. Ah, look, Mr. Naruhodo. It's the roses. Look at the regulation metal helmet. It's unmistakable. The men of Scotland Yard are here. They're investigating as we speak. That is their job, you know. But Mr. Naruhodo, to see one with my own eyes. They're often depicted in the adventures of Shlomes, but I never dreamt I'd ever come this close. To a real Bobby's helmet. What? The helmet? Of course. I have to try one on one day. Well, I hope your happy dream comes true. Heyo. What's the Japanese delegation doing here? Oh, Inspector Gregson. This isn't on the tourist trail, as I am fairly sure you're well aware. Yes, of course. We're here to investigate. So you've been to the holding cells then? What'd you make of the criminal? Stop that with the fish, that's cheating. He's not a criminal as you put it, Inspector. He's a suspect. Stop it. We'll see about that. You Japanese like to stick together, I suppose? I'll do what you will. Doesn't bother me. The bloke's in court tomorrow, whatever happens. And the verdict's a foregone conclusion. Stone-cold air of rejection. Take heart. London at this time of year is full of stone-cold air. That makes it worse somehow. Alright, let's converse with him, see what's going on. Scotland Yard. Tell me about Scotland Yard, Inspector. Ever since I read about it in the Adventures of Shlomes, I've been fascinated by this place. The Yard is the most sophisticated policing organization you'll find anywhere in the world, ma'am. Oh, and you know I've always dreamt of wearing a real Bobby's helmet. It does make them look the part, seeing that policeman there with his helmet on. I certainly get the sense that this is a man who will take no nonsense in his duty of protecting the city. Oh yes, doesn't he look wonderful? Alright. Being a London Bobby is hard going, I can tell you that. Oh really? First thing in the morning, you know what he does? Goes around and rouses all the labourers on his beat so they can get off to work. What? He wakes people up? Yep. Ramps on their windows with a long pole. Did myself going back a bit. I had no idea. And the Bobby works for the people of the town. It's just another one of his duties. After that, he starts tirelessly patrolling the streets all day long. He has to cover 20 miles a day. That's the regulation distance. Can't really imagine how far that is, but it sounds like a long way. Let me see. 20 miles, that's approximately the distance from Tokyo to Yokohama. On foot? That's definitely taking things a step too far. Literally. And when it gets dark, of course, he has the important job of lighting all the gas street lamps. Oh my. I suppose in between all of those duties, Bobbies are expected to investigate cases as well? And chase after criminals trying to evade the law. I'm not sure you could call it in between exactly. More alongside, but yes. They're expected to handle these jobs as well. We do have men keening over from time to time, I admit. I'd always dreamt of wearing one of those helmets, as I said. But the burden of responsibility. It's with a heavy heart that I shall have to relinquish that dream to you, Mr. Naruhodo. What? Your heavy heart will be my heavy head if you do. About the case. It happened at around 5 in the evening 2 days ago, just there on that open bit of pavement. The victim, a young woman, was stabbed with a blade from behind. Is it right that the lady is still unconscious now? You mentioned that she's being treated in hospital. I never said she was a lady. Truth is, unless she comes around pretty smartish, we won't be able to find out much about her at all. Suppose that means they haven't been able to take a statement from her, of course. Here's a map of the local area I happen to have on me. You can take it if you want. Really? Are you sure? It's your policy to give lawyers defending suspects the odd bit of information to go on. I haven't actually accepted the job yet, but still. Thank you, Inspector. We gratefully accept. The local map has been entered into the court record. Anyway, as far as we know, was no one else on the scene other than the victim and your fellow countryman. So who did it, do you think? Not much of a head-scratcher, is it? Well, I know Mr. Natsume is also claiming not to have seen anyone else around, but just because he didn't see anyone, it doesn't mean we can be sure that nobody else was present. I'm sorry to have to tell you, but we most certainly can be sure. How? Because, ma'am, footprints? The precise moment of the stabbing didn't go unnoticed. What? We have two very reliable witnesses, no less. Ah. It was a typical foggy London day, and your client obviously didn't see them. There were witnesses now? Witnesses, yes. Who are these witnesses, Inspector? A fellow and his wife, and the man's one of the most reliable and respected citizens in all of London. He's a copper from Scotland Yard. Ah. A policeman. That might change things. And this policeman just happened to be there at the exact moment the woman was attacked? Nothing peculiar about that, Mom. Part and parcel of being a bobby. Catching them banging the act and all that. Do you think it might be possible for us to ask that policeman a few questions? Be my guest. You can ask him what you like. In court tomorrow. Oh. I have no doubt he'll be summoned as a witness. That ought to give you something to look forward to. That's that then. Got no intention of letting us meet the man beforehand, it seems. A policeman witnessed the incident. As your judicial assistant, I must warn you that this could make our job very difficult indeed. Yes, as a non-judicial assistant, I could have warned me of that too. Oh, yes, one more thing, Inspector. What? The person who led you to the suspect. Yeah, that was Mr. Shlomes. What are you bringing him up for? Was it something I said? Colour had just drained from his cheeks. Oh, we'll go with Mr. Shlomes first. Who did you hear that name from? Oh, well, it was Mr. Natsume who mentioned it. Said that Mr. Shlomes was with the police when they entered his lodgings. I'm sure it was the result of one of Mr. Shlomes' inspirational great deductions. Fiddle-faddle. The man's an amateur, and I'm getting sick and tired of him showing his mug everywhere. Oh, I don't know where he gets his information from, but he turns up at the scene of the crime, wanders around spouting incomprehensible rubbish. Before you know it, he claims to have solved the case. Yes, he's quite astounding, isn't he? He's a great help to Scotland Yard, though, isn't he? Gibble-gabble. Never seen this before. Oh, yes, that's Rant's magazine. The wonderful publication in which the adventures of Mr. Sherlock Holmes, Shlomes, that's the name, appears. I just want to say Sherlock Holmes so much. Yes, well, that wonderful publication, as you put it, sees fit to include several of the Yard's detective in its stories. And the so-called great detective makes a mockery of all of us. If you ask anyone at the Yard, it's a misadventure to be included in any Sherlock Holmes tale at all. Well, I suppose there's an element of that. We work our socks off, every one of us, and to be flumped by the public thanks to that obnoxious detective. The man's as dangerous to us as Scotland Yard as he is to our criminal. Or what? It's like, what? We work our socks off. The man's as dangerous to us at Scotland Yard as he is to all our criminals. But he is a danger to the criminals, then. Right? That can't really be true, can it, Inspector? Clearly the great detective and the police have a, complex relationship. Yeah, tomorrow's trial then. That twitchy Japanese bloke goes on trial tomorrow. Are you going to defend him or not? Well, makes no difference to me, but I will just say this. No London lawyer worth his salt would touch that case with a barge pole. Because the prosecution is being handled by the Reaper of the Bailey, you mean? There's no way to save the man now, it's a waste of time trying. It is all a bit strange, though. Sorry? The Reaper hasn't appeared in court once for a good few years now. Yes, we did hear something to that effect. And the only people he usually bothers with are the real scum. The master criminals, the violent ones. Master criminals? The violent ones? That's right. He handpicks his victims, only deals with those guaranteed to go to the gallows for their sins. But Mr. Natsumi wouldn't hang for what he's accused of, surely? That's just my point, sunshine. Yes, the young woman was stabbed, but it didn't kill her. Couldn't even say the intent was there. No, this isn't the sort of case I'd be expecting the Reaper to want to sink his teeth into, for want of a better phrase. Well, it's not exactly a minor infraction, is it? No, there's got to be more to it. For some reason he's taken an interest. Probably Shlomes. Really, what sort of reason, Inspector? You think I can tell what's going on inside the head of that Lord of Darkness? You'll have to ask him yourself at tomorrow's trial. Are we really going to have to face the Reaper again? The Lord of Darkness, as he puts it? Apparently. Oh, well. I don't think we're going to get any more useful information out of the detective. The carriage went. Should I inspected the area beforehand? Mr. Naruhodo, can I make a suggestion? Oh, yes. What is it? Well, it seems to me that we must speak with him about this. What? By him, do you mean Mr. Shlomes? Yes, Mr. Herlock Shlomes, exactly. Look at those shining eyes. Can't wait, can you? Well, Mr. Natsumi did blame Mr. Shlomes for all of this, didn't he? Yes, he did. He really did. Which makes him an involved party in the case. You're just going to ignore that? I hope not. I assure you it's not simply my selfish desire to meet with Mr. Shlomes again. The trouble is, I have no idea of the man's address even. It's Baker Street. How do you know that? It's in the stories, of course. 221B Baker Street, the most famous address in the world. Oh, I see. Well, there's nothing to stop us from going, I suppose. Better try to find our way there before Suzuto-san gets any more excited and unpredictable. Hurrah! I'll summon a carriage. So, we're to have a reunion already. Oh no. With the great detective, Mr. Herlock Shlomes. Why did you not? Mr. Herlock Shlomes. Like the Bobby... oh, there they are. Like, I was going to say, they disappeared. It's like, wait a minute. I needed to investigate the area. Let's see if we can converse still, though, if there's anything more. Nope. Okay, examine. Oh, that's a Scotland Yard carriage. They use vehicles like that to rush to crime scenes and cart away criminals. You're very well informed, aren't you? It's long been a dream of mine to ride one of those through the streets of London. I'll just pick up a stone and throw it through one of the windows, then. But that would mean being arrested in order to ride it. Wouldn't it? Still, if it's the only way... Help me find a good stone. No, I wasn't serious. Oh dear. Of course, the snowman's. I'm wondering if there's a ladder around. That's the thing, I'm waiting for like a step ladder joke, you know. What a delightful snowman. I didn't realize the English had a tradition of making snowmen as well. It's a little creepy, though. Oh, it has a scarf. Look. You need one if you're out in this freezing cold all the time. Wish I had one. I'm afraid our budget is somewhat frozen at the moment, too. We certainly can't afford a scarf. Surely the snowman here wouldn't miss his. But the person who made the snowman certainly would. Yes, I know, you're right. Anyway, Even if I borrowed it, it wouldn't do much to warm my neck, would it? It's covered in snow. You wait for it to melt and stuff. That's one of the officers from Scotland Yard. The police are making sure the crime scene is undisturbed. I have a feeling that if we wandered too close, we'd be clapped in irons. I think perhaps you're being a little overcautious. We've done nothing wrong, so we have no cause for concern. Oh no, I'm not getting caught out again. Twice is enough. Twice I've found myself in handcuffs despite not knowing a thing about what was going on. Yes, you've had some dreadful experiences. I'm sure it's that wide-eyed look of panic you're so prone to. Does you no favours at all. Ugh. Probably not, no. Can I inspect it of a barbare? No, same tick. Okay, well, assume it's the same tick. Oh, the road itself. There are piles of snow on the pavement here and there, but the road itself is covered in carriage tracks. It seems carriages often travel down Briar Road. It soon disperses all the snow. I slipped over when I was walking down the pavement earlier. Seems like it would be far safer to walk on the road instead. But you're rather small, Mr. Naruhodo, and dressed all in black. I'm worried coachman might not see you, and you could be flattened by horses. Oh, thank you for the rather small concern. This bike, though. Oh, British bicycle, look! Although the wheel is so misshapen, I'm sure it couldn't possibly be ridden anymore. Someone must have been doing some breakneck cycling. Seems bicycles have become extremely popular in London recently. Even a movement to change women's dresses to allow them to ride as well. Bicycle fad won't last. I don't see why anyone would want to ride something like that. Goodness, do you dislike bicycles? No, not at all. I mean, it's not like I dislike them exactly. It's just that any occupation that involves taking both your feet off firm ground seems reckless. You'd ever tried walking on stilts and falling into a river? I know you'd agree with me. We'll have to hire a bicycle sometime. You can sit behind me while I ride you around. This building is suspicious, though. It's a rather typical old brick building, isn't it? Sure it has a long and interesting history. No, the windows and the door look strange. Well, time certainly seems to have taken its toll on the place. It's crooked and sagging all over. In fact, it looks it's decidedly worse shape than the other houses around here. We must find some cheap lodgings ourselves as soon as possible. Yes, you're right. Cheap, but ideally with reasonably level floors. Yeah, it's like... Look at the windows. Oh, look at the windows of that building there. Are you sure they're windows? They're clearly meant to be. Yes, but they're all filled in with bricks. Oh, you're right. I wonder why. Perhaps it's an empty property where nobody lives at the moment? There's smoke coming from the chimneys, though. Oh dear, everything still feels very foreign. So much we have to learn about this place. Yes. Seems to be it, doesn't it? Unless it's the sign? Nothing out. Oh. This patch of pavement must be where the incident occurred. Yes, it's a very wide open space, isn't it? It's true, I can't see anywhere an attacker could have been hiding. Oi! What are you foreigners doing here? Huh? Oh, just investigate it. Conspiring with that mustache fella from Japan, are you? Conspiring? Come here to destroy evidence, have you? Get out of here before I give you an hiding. Go on. Well, alright then. He shoot us away like rats. Yes, we should give him a wide berth, I think. What a disappointing experience. That's one way to put it. Alright, I think now we should head off. Unless we get another converse from that. No. Let's move on. A new location has been added. To Shlomes Suite 221B Baker. Oh.
Thank you very much.
It's just up there overlooking the street. Good day.
Thanks again. This is it. The residence of Mr. Shlomes.
It doesn't look like that. 19th of February, 12:53 p.m. Shlomes Suite. So this is where the great detective makes his living. Feels surreal to be here somehow. That letter's stabbed into the wall. Look at that. And a pipe there. Is it as described in the stories, Miss Susato? Uh-oh. Susato, Sam? Many famous cases have been solved here, in this very room. Oh, I suppose they must have been, yes. I never read the story, so it's hard to get quite as excited about this as she seems to be. Even the violin, look. The detective chases the villain relentlessly as he disappears into the fog down an unlit London street. Oh, the thrill of it, the romanticism. Can't you feel your heart thumping in your chest? Can't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, I suppose I can, yes. So if you don't mind, I'll just stand here and soak up the atmosphere for a while longer. Please don't mind me. She's obsessed. Well, looks like our detective friend isn't home at present. Excuse me, is anybody home? Oh, do we have a visitor? Hello. Hello! Is it a big new case for Mr. Shlomes? Hello? Wait. Aren't you... Oh, how rude of me. I'll go and make some tea at once. Well, yes, of course. I'm sure it's the same girl. Wait, so is she... Watson? Miss Susato, did you see the girl who was just here? Oh yes, isn't it truly extraordinary? To think that the King of Bohemia came to this very room to ask Mr. Shlomes to take on his case. The King of Bavaria? King Wilhelm Gottschalk Sigismund von Ormestein. Of course. Of course, of course. Yes, what else would it be? Yes, you know. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Forget the adventures of Shlomes for a moment, and look over there. The tea's brewed already, and I have a freshly baked cake as well. Ah, it's you. I knew it. Susato-san recognizes her too. I mean, we don't need a flashback. Ah, there you are. And taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. It's the girl who turned up at the end of Mr. McGilded's trial in the defendant's antechamber. I've never met a lawyer from the Far East before. Poor you, having to get straight to work when you've only arrived just in London. Oh yes, it was, challenging. Well, try this tea. It's my special blend, you know. Oh, thank you. Is tea supposed to look this color? Depends what color it is. Oh my, what a fragrant yet mellow flavor. Hooray, it's a winner. We tried blending different leaves designed to alleviate fatigue, you see? You must be exhausted after your long voyage here. And you have another ticklish trial tomorrow. Oh, and you're to defend a Japanese man. Do wish you lots and lots of luck. Did Mr. Shlomes tell you about us by any chance? Oh, you know Hurley, do you? Hurley? Mr. Shlomes to you, surely. Mr. Shlomes was a fellow passenger on the boat that brought us to Great Britain, you see. Was he really? Well, I had no idea. I'm afraid Hurley is out on an errand again today, even though he's just returned from overseas. Wait a minute. I met this girl for the first time ever yesterday after the trial, and only briefly at that. How on earth does she know so much about us? Did she deduce all those things, do you think? And perhaps more to the point, why is she here in Mr. Shlomes' suite? Oh, silly me, I haven't introduced myself, have I? I'm expecting a Watson. It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson. Ah, of course. I live here together with Hurley. Ah, Iris, is it? What a lovely name. What? What's the matter? No, wait, this can't be. Did you say that your name is Wilson? What's the matter with Suzuto-san? Why is she so flustered all of a sudden? Yes, that's right. And what are your names? Oh, I'm Ryu, a lawyer from Japan. Oh, sorry. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Suzuto Mikutaba. It's wonderful to meet you. Lovely. Susie and Runo. Oh, I like that. Got it. Susie and Runo. There's more to this girl than meets the eye. There's so many questions for her, I don't know where to start. Yes, and so do I. Stop reading her mind. Just... Alright then. Let's start with looking around, because there's so many things. So many. I do like this fireplace. It's one of the best things I've seen since we arrived in the country, in fact. Lingering beside the fire and watching the flames flicker and dance in the grate. Ah, it's so relaxing. You can't relax. Not when there are so many interesting things on the mantelpiece. Oh, it's just as it was described in the stories. It is? Yes, exactly. Inside that Persian slipper, for example, are my chocolates for 11sies. And transfixed by that large jackknife is my shopping list for the market. Sort of making the veneer fall away. The varnish is tinted. Oh, it's not quite how I remember it being described in the Adventures of Shlomes. Poor Suzuto-san, she looks crushed. A mystery shoe, a curious hammer, some mysterious dancing men, a bust of Napoleon. Ah, what an entrancing collection. This is the first time in my life that I've seen a lonely old shoe displayed as an ornament. Oh, those are all mementos that Hurley has collected from his past cases. Really? Even the bust? Yes, that's right. When the mood takes him, he likes to throw it on the floor and smash it to dust. The poor defenseless emperor? Mr. Shlomes destroys it? Yes, and then he buys a new one. Make it sound like he has the temperament of an insane sculptor. Ah, how entrancingly bohemian of him. Yes. White. It looks like that huge metal chest is being used as a table for tea and coffee. No, just tea. It seems very sturdy, with an equally sturdy lock. Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't go around opening things. I have to keep an eye on you, don't I? You're very mischievous. How did you come to that conclusion? Oh, that chest. It contains some of the most valuable things. That smart tells me you're not going to give us any clue about what they are. Indeed. I expected something with the chairs over there. Ah, the violin. I've investigated thoroughly, but can't find anything out of place. A bit further down, that's why. I've seen pictures of Western musical instruments like this. It's called a violin, isn't it? Of course it is. Mr. Shlomes is renowned for his violin playing. Oh, really? Absolutely. It's often explained in the stories. It's inspirational, Mr. Naruhodo. Inspirational. I immediately started playing the koto, which was the closest Japanese stringed instrument I could find. What a shame you couldn't bring it with you to London. Oh, yes, well... Papa was beaming when I asked him if he would buy me one. But after a while he asked if I would only practice when he was out of the house. So now it's merely an ornament in my room. That must have been an awkward conversation. Yeah. What's that picture there, though? There's all sorts of... on these shelves. Chemistry apparatus, books, papers, and lots of things I've never seen before. It's all heaped up so high I can't help feeling that the whole lot is going to topple at any moment. I keep telling Hurley not to cram so much on these shelves. Good advice. I wanted to look something up in one of these books a while ago. But it was so tightly wedged in he couldn't get it out, so I bought a new copy instead. Or just tidy up. Just tidy up. What on earth is this huge over-the-top machine? That's the great... analytiscope. It can analyze anything, really. Anything at all. Analytiscope? That's absolutely incredible. It's one of Hurley's inventions. Took him a whole year. Said it was to help him with his investigations. You didn't make it? What sort of things has he analysed with it, do you know? Well, actually, he hasn't used it for anything yet. Oh. Why not? Apparently, on the evening he finally completed it, it suddenly occurred to him. I don't actually have anything I need to analyse. Oh dear. How about you, Runa? Do you have anything you'd like to analyse? The only thing that springs to mind is this machine itself. Curious about that skull, though. Is really nothing else? Like, this room's got... It's like... Why did you save then? Like, why did you save then? This room's so full of wonders, you'd think there'd be more going on. What on earth is that big black lump over there? Ah, that fascinating thing is called a typewriter. It's a machine that allows you to write on paper without needing a pen. And whizzily quick, too. Oh, well, that sounds like it could be very useful for someone like me with terrible handwriting. Concoctions. That's a charming little white shelf, and full of charming little bottles, too. Oh yes, but don't touch any of those. They might explode. Explode? Are they exotic chemicals? Do you use them for exciting experiments? Yes, indeed. And as Hurley as always says, chemistry is an explosive science. Sorry? I agree, a single discovery can trigger an explosion of innovation all around the world. Perhaps he just meant it literally. Either way, mental note, do not touch any bottle that belongs to Iris. Indeed. Tea. What a beautiful English tea set. It's so neatly arranged. It's a favourite pastime of mine. A cup of herbal tea in the afternoon. Tea made of herbs. That's right. I grow all sorts of herbs in the garden, so I can experiment with different blends. One moment. Don't go away. I brew a pot of the special blend I came up with earlier today. Looks delighted. I hope it's safe to drink. That sort of thing, even I'd be wary of that tea. It's like, maybe be a bit more careful with that. Right, so I'm thinking we'll end this part here now. In the next part, we'll have a little word with Iris here. So we'll see you in the next part. Ta-da for now.